Hello, everybody. We are live now that Robin has her microphone plugged in and can be heard. Welcome to the March meeting of Space Station Requiem. It is going to be kind of fast today. Well, not really, but it's also going to be kind of fun. We have our third Sunday Gamers Day happening. So we've got a great group of ladies and gals that are going to be playing along with some younger members of Space Station Requiem that are in homeschool. And they have been working very busily on a Minecraft world. So we're going to use a combination of Discord server, video chatting, and we're actually working towards creating a virtual world. So instead of me or whoever's helping me DM that day say, you have walked into a room that is 10 by 10. Oh, give me a second here. Now it's going to Gamers Day happening. So we've got a great group of now YouTube is coming over. Along with some younger members of Space Station Requiem that are in homeschool. Fine. Sorry, we are getting feedback from the YouTube channel. There we go. Okay. Hopefully I didn't stop it. Oops. Well, we might be having a bad day today, but that's okay. We'll make it work. So we're, back to what I was saying before my computer interrupted me, and Robin is definitely having a brain drain day, just an FYI. Lots going on this week. Our hearts go out to our members who are fighting illnesses this week. A couple of them have resulted in hospitalizations. So we are definitely thinking about our members right now. So we're going to go really quick, and a lot of it's just recapping what we recap every time we meet. And that is, let's get rid of that because I can't see what I'm talking about. What is Space Station Requiem? How are we tied to Guilds of Requiem, and how are we tied to Starfleet Command? And then come the kids. Come on in, kids. We'll go over our 2021 events. So we're keeping it super sweet, super short. And then we're going to have a little, I'm going to basically, go through the setup to our game that is starting tomorrow. And we do have our own server on Discord. Wicked, das ist Sprechen Sie nein. Those who know German know what I just said. I'm not translating it for those who don't. Man, they're going to drive me crazy today. We do have our own Discord server under the Gamers Guild of Requiem, which is the department that houses Space Station Requiem in our main organization. So Space Station Requiem, in the real world, we are a multi-genre fan club situated in the hill country of Texas. Our parent organization is Guilds of Requiem Incorporated. We are a non-profit corporation within the state of Texas. We are working towards our 501c3. Sorry, I had to get after the dogs. We are under the main guild of the Crafters Guild of Requiem, and the sub guild is the Gamers Guild. These are basically guilds, are basically departments. That's the best way to describe them. We are the volunteers and activity coordinators at Guilds of Requiem events. Plus, we host our own event of BantuckyCon. We are working towards getting a new event coordinator. If you are interested in learning how to be an event coordinator or have experience preferred with being event coordinator, visit the Ren Fair of Bandera County page on Facebook. There is a job posting that we have open because I am needing to step back heavily from all activities. We are affiliated primarily with Star Trek Command, but we do enjoy membership in several other national and international fan clubs. So that just gives us structure on how we are doing things and helps us, instead of reinventing the wheel, they've already invented it for us. So in the fictional universe, we are our own universe. So when I'm writing the saga of Space Station Requiem, I had to delete a very nasty comment that says, well, that's not canon. Well, you know what? We're our own universe. Canon is what we as members of Space Station Requiem and Guilds of Requiem agree to. Our space station was constructed as a sentinel and exploratory science exploration to an interdimensional rift in space. It was once the Draconis Nebula. It is near the fictitious worlds of Aelas and Troyes in the Star Trek universe of Alpha Quadrant.
Cletus.
Random things love to come through this rift from different times in space, which allows for us to have lots of fun with fandom genre crossovers. We have had Marvel Universe show up. We've had Star Wars show up. We've had Doctor Who show up. Matter of fact, if I can ever find our original storyline, that was the first thing that came through the rift. We do have our search and rescue squad, which is also all of our long distance members, and they are called our Rift Runners. The Jahadesh inhabit the rift, and you may know them by other names in several fandoms. They're called the Shadow, the Descendants of Cthulhu, the Harbingers of Death. Basically, it's a pure evil that can infect the souls. So that is our main antagonist right now in our storyline. We've also been introduced to the notion of shape-shifting dragon humanoids. That's nothing new for those of you who are into dragon fantasy. So we have one primary event, and that is called Nantuckycon. We hold it in October. I believe it is October 23rd. That is temporarily slated. A lot of things may change this year based on where the direction of Guilds of Requiem goes. And our theme this year is "And the Rednecks Shall Inherit the Earth." It'll start about 10 a.m. It will be an outdoor convention, so that means we are at the mercy of Mother Nature. After having UFO Minicon at the end of August and seeing 122 degrees in the shade, we decided we're not doing it in the summer ever again. We will take the opportunity to bundle up so we don't freeze our tushies off if when the sun goes down, we're still going, which is what happened last year at the Rocky Horror Picture Show. It opens the door for all fandoms of cosplay, the paranormal, investigations, and UFOs. We thoroughly enjoy our friendship with MUFON of San Antonio. They are amazing people. We are looking for other organizations to help fill volunteer roles, specifically within coordinating the event. We would prefer to have an astronomy club come out to handle all the stargazing after dark. A lot of this is hinged on the location that we find to have the event. We are no longer affiliated with the Shindig. They are now enjoying the fun of having a dirt bike track on their property. So that's been a lot of fun for their patrons. We do an annual showing of the Rocky Horror Picture Show, and unfortunately the last few years it's been lame. Why? Because Robin is easily distracted and has been the only person who knows when to say things at the right time and when we're supposed to do stuff. And if Robin's not paying attention or not having a bad night, well, everybody just ends up watching the movie. If you've seen the redo of Rocky Horror Picture Show, and I don't remember I think it's like Rocky Horror Picture Show After Dark or something like that. The premise is that you've gone to a theater and you're watching the Rocky Horror Picture Show and they're acting it for you. We might actually switch to that this year. There is no entrance fee. We own a copy of it, so we are not in any copyright violations. We are looking for subject matter experts to help host panels. Last year, we had panels on writing, on how to self-publish. MUFON hosted a large number of panels throughout the day as well that had to do with UFO and paranormal investigations. And of course, we're always looking for entertainers. We do have a Facebook group called the Ren Fair Planning Committee. Please, Ren Fair Bandera County Planning Committee, that is actually the group we use to plan all of our events, not just Ren Fair. So if you're on Facebook, find that group. If not, we might put drop a link in the comments later on. Online events with COVID, this has been a real great big boon for any organization that basically has long distance members. So we do have our monthly meeting. It is on the third Saturday of every month, which is today at 3 p.m., which we actually hopefully started on time. We do have online gaming sessions. which is our fantasy world using Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition and a combination of 3.5 and D&D Beyond. And basically they are guidelines after all. But it is a fantasy world, and it is the third Sundays at 1 p.m. on our Discord server. Please contact the page Space Station Requiem or the Crafters Guild of Requiem if you would like an invite to our Discord server. There is no gaming today for the Space Station Requiem members and on planning our saga. The Homesteaders and Preppers Bazaar is kind of taking up a lot of our time this weekend, which kind of gave us a little crunch. And then we also had a lot of things happening that I could not prepare to run a GURPS game at all. So that is kind of on hold, and I don't know. We'll just have to see how everybody's schedules go going into next month to see if that's something we actually want to go forward with, or if I just want to pick my brain and continue to write the saga on my own. Now, it says, that's the end of the meeting, but really it's not. I promised a introduction of shared windows closed. Why is the shared windows closed? Well, that's fine. Y'all get to see my lovely face. Come on, live on view to exit full screen. Y'all get to see my lovely face while I am reading. Thrugrith is a half orc, and that is all we know she is right now, is just a half orc. She is a longtime character that I've been playing for many, many, many years. I think we started her back when I was on the USS Joan of Arc and Tanya Abbott was running game day, and we would meet once or twice a month to play D&D as a part of activities with USS Joan of Arc. A lot of it was just to have fun and an excuse to hang out with our friends every weekend. And there's nothing wrong with that. So something that I had done is I kind of like to have backstories for my character. And so I try to imagine, what her little world was like. And I am published as Rasha Anatael. It's RASHANNATILL on Amazon. We do have Growing Up Human on the Tales of Thrugrith. It is a very short book meant to be an introductory to the rest of the series of books. They are going in our game. We are going to be starting the road to righteousness. Thrugrith is a paladin in training, and as a part of their growing up process, they need to find their own path or road to righteousness. So I'm going to read the first little bit here that really helps introduce who Thrugrith and all of our main characters are, with give you a sneak preview of what's going to be in the entire book. So Thrugrith Whistling is the name of our main character. She was found near a dead female orc. It was presumed to be her mother when she was about 2 or 3 years old, by a paladin of Charlemagne named Walter Whistling. And this is basically recapping the first book. Walter found her after a strange silver light had filled the night sky. Others of their camp had witnessed it as well. Lord Tyanus sent him on a quest to discover the source, as only someone steeped in the ways of divine magic were able to see it. He'd spent several days going in the direction that the light had been, getting closer and closer to the orc settlement of Oshurak. Then he was really comfortable with. All he found was a dead female orc and a half-orc child, bathed in the lingering afterglow of overspent magic. She had a festering burn over her right eye, no doubt the result of some sort of arcane orcish ritual and rite of passage. No amount of healing could remove the resulting scar, resembling the eye of divine beholding he had once seen at a temple devoted to Luthik, the orc goddess of fertility and childbearing. He quickly found that she was well above average in intelligence, compared to other orcs Walter had met. He might even go so far as to say she was more intelligent than most humans he knew. It warmed his heart to know that Lord and Lady of Charlemagne agreed with his assessment that this child was somehow involved in that burst of magic. Him and his wife, Rosemary, raised her as their own child after they realized there was something even more special about her, as she would innately care for animals and leave the lingering glow of raw and untamed magic afterwards. When Walter returned gravely wounded from a campaign near Thrugrith's tent at Charlemagne, Thrugrith glowed in that same silver light as she poured herself in trying to save her dying father. This began Thrugrith's initial stay in the halls of Charlemagne, in attempts to teach the woman-child to control her natural gift. A year later, at Rosemary's death, Thrugrith once again glowed in silver light when she assisted Rosemary with crossing over. After that day, Thrugrith devoted herself to the paladins of Charlemagne, to be officially schooled in magic and in the fighting arts. Her and her fellow squires, paladins also in training, have reached the age of adventuring with the paladin of Charlemagne and to begin in earnest tutoring of the paladin ways with practical applications. Thus begins the road to righteousness and the everlasting glory to the divine. Jana Tyr. Jana Tyr had lived in the shadow of Thrugrith almost her entire life, since she had been found floating in the fountain of the Garden of Celestial Light at the citadel of Charlemagne by the priests. There were only a few blessed years that the halls of Charlemagne never whispered a peep over this half-orc. Jana wanted to hate Thrugrith, but somehow she could not. She knew what it meant to be an orphan. Even with the favor of the Lord and Lady of Charlemagne, not having true parents to turn to was a challenge. She was frequently fostered out to others, as was common for orphans, while Thrugrith got to live a semi-normal life with her adopted parents. Jana sighed heavily as she wondered why, as a possible child of prophecy as well, she had not been blessed with adopted parents. Sir Jorgen was the closest figure she had to a father. He was usually her sole guardian on the trips between cities and the 2 years with each fostering city or kingdom. Jana was always hesitant to tell the abuses she endured at some of those, and forever thankful that the stays never lasted beyond the biannual second rising of Draco at Lugnastha of midsummer, followed by a blessed year at Charlemagne. Before Thrugrith, she had been the focus of everyone's attention as the possible orphan of divine light. Despite her true date of birth being unknown, the priests had determined her to be a newborn, possibly even a few hours old when she was found. The light of a full moon had been shining on her, bathing her in a celestial glow. The constellation Draco was just rising over the horizon, his wise gaze a blessing to her life. Who would have guessed that 3 years later, a celestial light would occur in the night sky as Draco rose once more, or that an orphaned half-orc child would be found, glowing in her own celestial light. During her 1-year stays back at the halls of Charlemagne, Jana would have to endure the tales of Thrugrith and the mischief she frequently caused. The secreted stories of Thrugrith healing animals with just a touch and a whisper. The existence of Jana Tyr and her once claimed to be prophesied child pushed to the back of everyone's mind. On her 12th year of life, Jana was once again retrieved by Sir Jorgen. Oddly, he was accompanied by 2 dwarven monks named Mocha and Occam this time, traveling in apparent exile to the city of Charlemagne, versus the 2 of them traveling alone. The dwarves were twins in appearance only. Everything else about them was polar opposites. They were jovial fellows, quick with tongue, verse, and song, their joys of drinking sacred wines evident daily. They were an odd pair to watch, especially when finishing each other's sentences. They certainly did not act like any monk she had met before. Jana half listened as Sir Jorgen told of Thrugrith's latest escapade that caused her to nearly die through the excessive use of her natural healing magic in attempts to save her adopted father. Occam seemed particularly interested in what Thrugrith had done. He told them of a tale of a prophesied orc child that would bring healing to the one with the all-seeing eye and unite the orcs against or with the Elven Empire. But he was also just quick to dismiss the tale as obviously that child would be a boy, as girls are only good for one thing. Sir Jorgen looked uncomfortable at Jana when the dwarf's apparent regards for the status of woman was not one he wanted to think of, especially when directed at Jana. He had noticed for the first time that she had her mother's eyes and soft features. His mind drifted back to the time 12 years plus past, and just as quickly locked those forbidden memories up. Jana! Hey! Wicket! Stop it! Sorry, the dogs are roughhousing. Jana! Tell me about your parentage, Mocha asked out of sudden curiosity. I understand that you too are an orphan. Tell me, what do you know about yourself, youngling? Do you have unexplained dreams? An odd affinity for water? Sir Jorgen looked at Jana nervously, and then with a shock as she stammered about preferring to be near water, if that's what he meant. Very interesting. An orphan child of light and a hidden child of water. Mocha sucked on his empty pipe knowingly, glaring at Sir Jorgen as they rode along in silence after that point. And that, folks, is all you're going to get for a teaser into the next chapter of the book. I am going to stop our live feed on YouTube so that those who are playing the games can hear the rest of everything else that introduces us to the remaining of our NPC and PC players. So if you are interested in joining our game, we do have plenty of NPCs for the drop-in player to play. And check out our Space Station Requiem page. We do have a public group. We will be trying to get our website updated to actually have more information about Space Station Requiem. It is www.guildsofrequiem.com/Space Station Requiem. No dashes, no dots, no capitalizations. That does get you to our page. We do have a group on the Facebook page. We have a group on our website page as well. Jeff Lester has done an amazing job on also getting Space Station Requiem going as a hashtag across all social medias, along with establishing social medias accounts. We do have a Linktree account that gives a direct link to all of our social media if you want to choose to follow on something other than Facebook. We thank everybody for joining with us today. And like I said, we're keeping it short, sweet, simple, and to the point. I'm going to turn off YouTube now, and we'll